trademark come out in everything you touch, you're not owning it. That is still the mind of a slave. When you do not have resources and data banks that you can actually give your opinion about what you're doing and why you're doing it, that is the mind of a slave. Do you understand that? I want to bring this to you. So it's like, I personally am tired of the politicians and all these people talking a whole bunch of stuff. It's time now for each and every one of you to empower yourselves and get the information. Because when that happens, you'll obviously have different representation. Because you'll know them inside and out, and you'll be able to reconcile who can do what for you. We don't have to, have a lot of gabbing parties to get voted. They'll be able to throw down, and that's it. And we haven't had that yet, but it's your responsibility to create that for yourselves by understanding truly and honestly who you're dealing with and what are the implications that information is going to mean as far as the power that you're getting ready to give them. Never argue in behalf of your weaknesses. I don't see any other races, and I've been with all races, studied with them. They don't argue about the fact that they have slanted eyes, so therefore they can't own their company. They don't talk about the fact that they basically have no buttocks, that they don't have no lips, that their skin is too white, that they can't run the world. I never hear them say that. I can't run the world because my skin is too white and because I basically don't have much testosterone. I don't hear that. They don't jump and say that. They don't say that, this is a black man's world because I basically have no muscle mass. I never hear them say that. So when I see Mick Jagger, whose hips are probably about 9 inches wide, he decided he was going to be the king of rock, and if his money could take him where he wanted to go, he could buy anything. Well, he does that. And he's a teeny weeny little person, and he has no issues with that. He doesn't apologize about it. He basically does not argue in behalf of his weaknesses. He knows better than we do how he can get sunburned and how he has to have all his little clothes taken up. But that does not allow him not to be able to perform and have what he envisions. And I have heard so many times, I've heard black men actually say that this is a white man's world. I mean, that's incredible to me. Because that means, well, what does it mean for you, and what are you doing in it then? I mean, that's concern. I'm concerned about that. So if you're too dark and, whatever the issue is, your buttocks is too big, I mean, all of that is just clear, absolute nonsense. And, let's not even deal with my mama didn't. And, I didn't have a dad. All of that is foolishness. It is foolishness. I was clear about that when I met a turtle in the Pacific Ocean, a couple of them. And they were 250 years old. And when I looked at them and they looked at me, and I was like, now this is incredible. Your mother dropped you at nighttime in the sand. You never knew your daddy. They hatched out of those eggs, and they immediately jumped into the huge ocean. So you have to ask yourself, why can you not swim? Now, if you're talking about you're afraid of water, then you know that you need to sign up tomorrow and get you some swimming lessons. Because here's a turtle whose little head is like this, that runs and jumps in the ocean at nighttime and navigates this ocean in areas we never know, and they are 250 years older looking at you. Now, what does that say about you? See, Mother Nature is right here confronting us with all our issues, asking us to grow up, to be the gods that we were created to be, and take our proper place. So when you have something that lives in the ocean, never needs a house, don't have to have a car, none of this foolishness that can live for 250 years, then you have to ask yourself, what are you talking about? That because you work 50 years, you have the right to have arthritis, diabetes, and cataracts and blindness. It's all madness and nonsense. It is in your mind. There have already been scientists that have proven that we have tissue that can live indefinitely. Our gift is to heal spontaneously, to live as long as we desire without disease, and you have to ask yourself, why are you not actualizing your natural innate gifts? Now, everybody knows that the world is brown, which means that obviously there's more positions in leadership, more positions to have cash for the brown people, and now why don't they have it? Because if you're sitting here, that means that you have the genetic, mental capacity to have it. But if you have not looked at yourself and identified how you are holding on to the residual and the residue of slavery, then you are just, as they really say, a useless eater. Because everything naturally has been laid out for you, so you have to ask yourself, what is my problem? It's not anyone or anything outside of you. It is still in your mind as to how you really see and think about yourself. And the great gift is that at the drop of an eyelash, you can change that anytime. It does not take a long time, and it's going to be so hard, and, ooh, honey, I don't know how I'm going to do that. None of that foolishness, because all of those are commands too. So if you wanted to take it a long time, well then saying that means that your body is going to be real resistant. Telling your body that it's going to be very hard for you to change, then your body is going to be real resistant. Because whatever you tell your body with intent, your body will carry out for you. Do all you can first, and then the money will come. Well, why don't you have your own business? I don't have no money. That's the first thing you say. So you sit down and do absolutely nothing. Or you stay on the job that you hate, and then you wonder why your knees ache, your wrists are swole up, etc. When you know that you hate going there from the beginning. You know what you've always wanted to be, so why not be that? Money is never the excuse for you not being what you want to be. Because if you would do everything that you need to do first, the money will come. It has no choice, because everything that you've done is a magnet that will make it come. So no, as long as you talk about squeezing yourself into your life on the weekends, you can always look for a lot of problems. And that's how much many of us think about ourselves. Well, I had to go to this job. Okay, that's what you were taught in slavery. That's the residue of slavery. Okay, and then on the weekends you could sneak off to church maybe. Okay, and then you have to be back on the plantation. And many of you are still living this way. You can laugh, but you have to really look at yourself. You're still living this way. And if you decide that, well, I'm going to take 3 days off, I'm going to go to the library, I'm going to really find out about how I can open up my own dress shop, I'm going to go look for a place, whatever else, etc., most of you all would have a heart attack. You would be so intimidated, so afraid to go back 3 days later, when you know you don't even want to be there in the first hour. See, this is the contradiction, and this is the residue of slavery. Because if you just turn on that biography channel, all these people tell you the same thing over and over again. They just did what they needed to do because they believed in themselves. And they didn't care whether somebody else told them no. They went to somebody else. So we don't understand that when one person tells you no, that has nothing to do about you achieving your goal. That's just them saying they can't help you. But you got what? 5,999,999,900 other people that will say yes. So how many times have we said, well, they said no, it couldn't be done, and then we go home and sit down forever. Them saying no does not mean you cannot have what you want. It just means that they are not the ones to support you. And so you say thank you and you move on, because you got all these other millions that will. The body always represents your mind. If it is misshapen, toxic, diseased, or impaired, so are your thoughts. Okay, and we have to face that, and we have to deal with it. Okay, and we can't continue to rationalize that, oh, I'm healthy, I just have a little high blood pressure, and a little diabetes, and, you know, some cataracts, and whatever else, etc., and you don't think that that's a state of consciousness? It very much is. So These, again, are the residue